Welcome to this explainer. Seriously, I have been so excited to dive into this one with you, because today we're setting out to uncover a secret ancient doctrine. We're talking about teachings that have quietly, almost invisibly, influenced the philosophy of countless races, nations, and peoples for thousands of years. It's the foundational esoteric wisdom of ancient Egypt, knowledge passed down meticulously from master to student through the ages. So get comfortable and get ready, because we are about to unlock the mysteries of the Kybalion.
Okay, so there is this absolutely incredible mystical axiom. The lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of understanding. I love this because it perfectly sets the stage for our entire journey today. You see, for centuries, this knowledge was deliberately kept hidden from the masses. The ancient masters strongly believed in reserving their truth for the very few who were actually ready to comprehend it and master it. They completely refused to cast their pearls of wisdom before the materialist swine, people who would just trample them in the mud. Instead, these teachings were strictly passed from lip to ear, securely guarded behind closed doors.
And listen, this secrecy, it was literally a matter of life and death. If we track the perilous journey of this Hermetic wisdom, it starts back in ancient Egypt, gets kept alive by groups like the Gnostics and early Christians. But by the Middle Ages, wow, the flame of truth had to go deep underground. Why? Because of heavily persecuting theologians. You had initiates preserving this knowledge under the constant, very real threat of the sword, the stake, the gibbet, and the cross. But despite all that immense danger, a few incredibly dedicated souls always kept the flame alive, which is exactly how it survives into our modern era today as an esoteric secret doctrine.
At the very center of this whole shebang stands one legendary figure, Hermes Trismegistus. The ancients revered him as the master of masters and the thrice great. I mean, this is the guy who founded astrology and discovered alchemy, and the lore surrounding him is just fascinating. Tradition says he lived 300 years in the flesh, which honestly is a pretty good run, and that he was an actual contemporary of Abraham. After he passed, the Egyptians actually deified him as Thoth, and years later, the Greeks did the exact same thing, worshiping him as their god of wisdom. Pretty much every fundamental esoteric teaching in the world can trace its roots right back to him.
Now, you might be wondering, are we studying some ancient religion here? Actually, no. We aren't looking at a new sect or some strict dogma. The Kybalion was passed down purely as a master key. Think of it as a foundational tool. Its whole purpose is to reconcile all that fragmented, seemingly contradictory occult knowledge out there. Once you hold this master key, you can literally unlock the many inner doors of the Temple of Mystery that you've probably already started to approach.
So here is our roadmap. The 7 Hermetic principles: mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. By understanding these 7 laws, you basically gain the ability to look right under the hood of the universe. Let's just jump right into them, one by one.
Kicking things off with principle number 1, mentalism. The axiom states, the all is mind, the universe is mental. So what does that actually mean? It means that the underlying substantial reality of absolutely everything in the universe, all the matter, all the energy, all of life itself, is fundamentally a mental creation. The universe exists entirely within the infinite, living mind of the all. Grasping this is a total game changer. It allows you to actually apply the laws of the mental universe to your own well-being, rather than just bumping through life haphazardly.
Moving right along to our second principle, correspondence. You've probably heard this phrase before: as above, so below; as below, so above. Because the universe operates on multiple planes, physical, mental, and spiritual, the laws remain remarkably consistent across all of them. And for us, this is an incredibly powerful tool. It means you can reason from the known to the unknown. It's like, just as you'd use geometry to measure distant stars from an observatory, you can study the physical laws right in front of your face to comprehend hidden spiritual and mental realities that are otherwise completely out of sight.
Number 3 is the principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. And here's the crazy part. This ancient Egyptian concept is absolutely endorsed by modern science today. Every new scientific discovery just verifies it further. The Hermetic teachings explain that the only real difference between pure spirit at the absolute highest level and gross physical matter at the lowest is simply their rate of vibration. Pure spirit vibrates so incredibly fast that it seems to be perfectly at rest, like a spinning wheel, right? Meanwhile, heavy matter vibrates so slowly that it also appears to be at rest.
And that brilliantly sets up our fourth law, the principle of polarity. Think about heat and cold, or love and hate, or sharp and dull. They seem like total, distinct opposites. Well, actually, scratch that. The Hermetic truth is that they are the exact same thing, differing only in degree. Think about a standard thermometer. Can you pinpoint the absolute exact line where heat ends and cold begins? You can't. There's no such thing as absolute heat or absolute cold. They are literally just varying rates of vibration of the exact same thing, temperature.
Because everything is dual and has poles, all paradoxes can actually be reconciled. And you guys, this is where the philosophy becomes a highly practical tool. If love and hate are essentially the same thing on a sliding scale, a true initiate can master their own polarity. You can consciously change your own mental state simply by sliding your vibration along that pole. You can literally transmute hate into love, right within your own mind, by applying your will to this very principle. Okay, principle 5, rhythm. Everything flows out and in. The universe breathes. Tides rise and fall. Empires are built, and then they collapse. There is this inescapable pendulum-like swing between the poles we just talked about, and the measure of the swing to the right is always the exact measure of the swing to the left. This rhythm manifests in literally everything, in nature, in the economy, and yes, in our very own mental states and daily moods.
I want to pause here for a second and ask you something directly. If everything is completely bound by this rhythmic pendulum swing, how do we rise above it? Because let's be real, if you were just blindly swept back and forth from joy to misery every single week, you aren't mastering anything at all. How does an initiate shift from merely understanding these laws to actually dominating them?
Well, the answer starts right here, with the principle of cause and effect. Everything happens according to law. In Hermetic philosophy, chance simply does not exist. There is no such thing as random luck. Chance is just a word we use for a cause that we don't recognize yet. Sure, there are many different planes of causation, but absolutely nothing escapes the law. Everything you do and everything that happens to you is part of one giant unbroken chain of cause and effect.
So, here is the absolute most crucial takeaway. Most people, the masses, they're basically just effects. They get carried along, totally obedient to their environment, to the wills of other people, and to that pendulum swing of rhythm. But the masters, they rise to a higher mental plane. By deeply understanding the laws of polarity and rhythm, they dominate their moods and their environment. They learn how to play the game of life instead of being played by it. They become the causers.
Our 7th and final principle is gender. Gender is in everything. Now, to be clear, this goes way beyond physical sex. The root of the word gender actually means to generate, to create, or to produce. Yes, on the physical plane it manifests as sex, but these masculine and feminine principles exist and actively operate on all the mental and spiritual planes as well. Literally no creation, whether physical, mental, or spiritual, is possible without this principle of gender.
Which finally brings us to the big one, the ultimate secret of the ancients, mental alchemy. Look, when you hear those old myths about alchemists trying to physically turn a lump of lead into a bar of gold using the philosopher's stone, well, understand that it was always a veiled allegory, a cover story. The true art of Hermetic alchemy was never about literal physical base metals. It was always about self-mastery. It's the art of transmuting your own mental vibrations, shifting your mindset into higher, much more powerful frequencies, using the exact 7 principles we just walked through.
And that leaves us with this final, incredibly vital question. You now hold the master key. The universe is mental. Therefore, your mind is literally the most powerful tool you possess. So, how are you going to apply the principle of mentalism to transmute your own reality today? Are you going to remain just an effect of your environment? Or will you rise up, apply these ancient laws, and become a causer? The door to the Temple of Mystery is wide open. Now it's completely up to you to walk through it.